Hey everyone, I'm Sebastian, and this is
Dawn.
Dawn. This is Dawn with an
Forget
E.
my name.
We're the locally world famous chiropractor in Huntington Beach. I know you're thinking, world famous? No, I said locally. We're going to cover shoulder impingement today and just 3 things you guys can do exercise-wise at home to help out with that pain you have in the front part of the shoulder. What do you want to talk about first? You want to show them?
We could show them, talk about the 3 things that usually are impinged in that area, and then we could get into how to help.
Let's do that. So I'm going to play cameraman. Why don't you show them on Mr. Is it Bob Norton?
I think
Bob
I don't
Norman?
even remember what we named him last time.
This is Bob Norman.
All right, let's bring him over here then. So here is Bob's shoulder here. You have the arm that goes into the shoulder socket and attaches to the shoulder blade here. When we're talking about shoulder impingement, a lot of times what you feel is with raising the arm, you get a pinchy feeling kind of in the top or the side of the shoulder. There's 3 structures that can really be causing that pain. One of them is called the supraspinatus muscle. It comes through here and attaches at the top of the shoulder blade and is a part of the rotator cuff. There also is the biceps tendon that comes up and attaches underneath here as well that can also get impinged. And then there is a bursa underneath as well that can get impinged. And a lot of times what happens is when we sit in really poopy postures or rounded shoulders or this type of movement here where we're just here, it causes shoulder elevation, so movement upwards and forward, which will decrease the space in between here, and then you try to raise your arms overhead and all of a sudden you just get that like pinchy, impinging feeling in your shoulders. And so I like to, I don't know about you, Seb, if you have different ways that you show people, but you can just try at home, sit in a rounded posture like this and try to raise your arms up and see how far I can go. I just kind of lose
Yeah, it
almost
like hurts, right?
Yeah, it does.
I find it interesting. Like when people first come in, it's like they, the biggest aha moment they have is like, so they're kind of sitting here talking to you about their shoulder, and then they raise it and they say it hurts, and you say sit up, just sit up, do it again. Like, oh, it's better, but it still hurts. It does, but you're not giving yourself a good advantage. You're not giving the shoulder a good chance to heal itself. It wants to heal itself. So adding in just better posture is one thing we can do, right?
Absolutely. Just being more aware of sitting up straight. A lot of times, I think some people are like, oh, I always have to try to sit up straight. I think the fact that you think about it more often and sit up more often is better than most people who don't even think about it throughout the day at all. So. Right.
Just even a little bit like every 15 minutes of getting up and walking, or doing some like kind of sit up exercises. Not even like, you don't even have to be perfect. It's just doing the opposite of what you're already doing. And maybe we have a banded exercise that Dawn always loves to show for shoulders, that in posture. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
So we're going to show that one. I'll grab you a band. You want to talk about it?
Sure. It's called Brugger's, and this is one we learn in school. That's really good for some people. I like it because if you are somebody who is sitting a lot and you need a different way to just remind yourself how to engage those muscles in between the shoulder blades in the back, you sit up straight. You can stay in your chair, you can put your elbows to your side, and you just rotate out like so. And keep that squeeze kind of low in between the shoulder blades. And you could just do this about 10 times, and then when you're done, you feel better. You're just sitting up and those muscles feel engaged. You want to keep a band at your desk, you could do the same thing. Sit up nice and straight, elbows to the side, and then it kind of gives you a little bit of resistance when you're doing this. Rotating out like that, and it makes you feel really low in between the shoulder blades, and that'll help you sit up a little bit straighter. What are you so excited about?
No, I was thinking what I'm going to show next.
Okay.
And I realized the tool I need is way over there. So that's one thing, at least for the shoulder blades and to reduce impingement. A lot of times people will talk to us about localized shoulder pain around here, or even stuff behind. And a lot of times that when you have it just locally right there, something like a Brugger's will help out quite a bit, as well as the posture change. But sometimes there's referred pain here, which it can be deemed as impingement, and honestly half the time it's not. According to the research, about I think it's 48 of the time, it's actually, whether you have neck pain or spine pain or not, it's related to the neck. And so to do something to reduce that, you can use something like this, or you can just put your fingers behind your neck and just I'll go this way so you can see. So we're gonna go like this, and when you're just sitting at your chair, you just kind of just lean back and look up. I know when you're around the office, people are gonna be like, what the heck's Tom doing? Just ignore him. Just ignore him. What's Tom's middle name?
I don't freaking know. Don't put me under pressure like that.
So I do like maybe 10 of them or so. This is something else where you can just imagine you have a jacket and it's cold at the office. You just kind of pull down the jacket a little bit and just look up. You might wonder, what the heck does this do for your shoulder? Well, surprisingly, when it works, it'll only take about 10, 20 times and it'll feel significantly better. So it's a really easy thing to add in. And if you want to think of it in simple terms, it's when you're like this at the desk, just do the opposite. And this just provides a little bit of overpressure for it.
I like that.
What's the third thing you want to show? I gave you the hard one because those are the two best things to do,
Just
right?
simple ones to do in the chair. I mean, because we're talking about shoulder and impingement, a lot of times we talked about just postural related things. So if you're sitting in your chair, you can always do the extension one over the chair that we talk about. Like that. That's a really good one, and reminding to just sit up straight.
And that opens the shoulders up nicely too, right? It kind of does the opposite of the rounding. So why don't we, I'll grab a chair and we can talk about that one so we can demonstrate it.
Okay. So it mainly is like you're just sitting in your chair, like so, and then you're just going to sit up nice and straight, and it allows for you to, instead of being rounded in your mid-back area, you can, like we keep saying, just do the opposite. So arms behind your head and lean back like so. And that is something you can simply do. These are just really easy, simple things that you can do at the office. If you're somebody who is sitting in a chair a long time, do the one that Seb showed you, do the one that we showed you, Brugger's, do this one. It'll take, less than 2 minutes to do all those, and you'll feel a whole lot better.
Yeah, and one thing on that thing too is, so where you have it right here, is that where you want it, or do you want it, like, people might wonder where you should put that thing.
I mean, you can work your way you could start here, start sitting up straight, and come all the way back. You can come a little further and hit a different spot. Just work your way all the way down. That's what I'd do.
Can you do a Brugger's at the same time?
Heck yeah, you can.
You can do all of it?
You
What's
just kill two birds with one stone.
Did you get the memo? No.
I'm like turning and talking to you and not even looking at the camera.
Yeah, so those are some really easy things to do. And again, the important part about shoulder impingement or local shoulder pain is it kind of, like, although it's kind of intermittent and on and off for a lot of people, I don't think they tend to realize that it's actually a progression problem. And so if you really are putting pressure into the structures that go underneath that little tunnel right there, the theory is that it kind of leads into rotator cuff tears, partial tears, probably not completes. Completes would come a lot later, but partial tears and so on, and it would lead to problems where you can't reach overhead, and you can't. Why does everyone want to everyone wants to throw a football with their kid? Why can't you just throw a softball with your kid? You wouldn't have shoulder problems.
Let them throw a football, Sam.
They all want to throw a football with their kid. But anyways, it's really gonna rob you away from using the shoulder later on in life if you don't address things early. Usually people in their 30s and 40s will get this. And I think the estimation is that people, especially around their 40s, tend to sit a lot longer in life. Like, I think it was 14 hours roughly. And so you just want to start adding the opposites. Something simple like going for a walk would take care of a lot of this stuff. Brugger's with a walk.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing to consider too is, even if you went and got treatment for this, these would be some things that you would need to do. You got to reverse what's causing it in the first place. And so you guys can already start treatment at home just by using those simple tools to fix what's causing it in the first place.
Yeah. We didn't mention where we're at. We're in Huntington Beach, California.
Yes, we are.
That's where we're locally world famous in case you do need treatment somewhere. We're not way across the country in a bunker. So if you guys do need help, just call us or email us. The email is info@p2sportscare.com. That's info@p, the letter, to the number, sports is plural, care.com.
Oh, that's gonna get my eye.
And I know, tears are up every time. Or you can just give us a ring. We try to answer all the comments on YouTube, but it's really hard to get to all of them because YouTube doesn't really ping us when everybody comments back. So it's kind of like you put a comment, we respond, and then you respond, and we never hear about it. We never get alerted again. So emailing us to talk about it is probably easiest, and we do have a lot of programs online that make it so you can actually get the information we have and apply it to your life without actually having to be in office here too. So that is an opportunity you guys have.
Nicely said.
What do you got to add?
Subscribe. Subscribe somewhere around this video. We have tons of videos like this that we've been making for different regions of the body, so you have multiple things going on. You want to know more about the shoulder, more about the neck, just go onto our page, subscribe, type in neck, type in low back, type in hip, whatever it may be, and we have made tons of stuff up to this point. So you can do your little search and find out ways to help treat yourself at home if you would like.